Good afternoon, everyone. I consider myself to be a law-abiding citizen. I'm sure that's true for most of you, maybe even all of you, right? I checked with Father this morning. He told me he is one, so I'm pretty sure it's all of us. Oh, yeah. Well, almost all of us. But that doesn't mean that I never violate the law. Right? I remember one time I drove my car faster than the posted speed limit. Right? That may or may not have happened this morning. But there are really two kinds of laws. Those that kind of govern what we are allowed to do, and those that govern what we are not allowed to do. For example, we are allowed to get a driver's license. As long as we meet certain criteria, right? We can get a driver's license. But we're not obligated to get one. We can choose not to if we want. And if we choose not to get a driver's license, we're not violating the law, unless we decide to drive anyway. But we are not allowed to drive our car faster than the speed limit, even though some of us may have done that once or twice. We drive faster than the speed limit, we are in violation of the law. And in the gospel passage that we just heard, Jesus finds himself in violation of the law. Or at least he is accused of violating the law. See, the law was very clear at that time that no work was to be done on the Sabbath. And the Pharisees viewed the healing ministry of Jesus as work. And so they set up a speed trap for him, right? They wanted to catch him in the act, see if he would heal the withered man, the man's withered hand. But Jesus kind of sees through their strict interpretation of the law. He challenges them. And he asks, is it lawful to do good rather than evil on the Sabbath? Is it lawful to save a life rather than to destroy it? And that's a really good question. It's a really good question that we as a nation would do well to ask ourselves today with all earnestness. Ask ourselves today, on this day in which we pray for the legal protection of the unborn. Is it lawful to save a life rather than to destroy it? Or conversely, is it unlawful to destroy a life rather than to save it? And I think it's really important to pay attention to the words that Jesus uses. He asks, is it lawful? He does not ask, is it legal? Those are two different things. Legal refers to that which we are allowed to do or not allowed to do. Lawful refers to that which we ought or ought not to do. What is legal is determined by human beings. What is lawful is determined by God. And so when Jesus heals the crippled man on the Sabbath, that was not legal, but it was definitely lawful. And in the state of Oregon, the woman chooses to have an abortion, that is legal. But that does not make it lawful. It is not lawful to destroy a life rather than to save it. It's simply wrong. And so today, on this day that we set aside to pray for the legal protection of the unborn, I think that the issue is not really that abortion is legal. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it's a scourge on our society that our legislators have deemed that it is legal. But the real issue is that there are millions upon millions of people whom probably most of us know and love, who don't know or don't care that it is not lawful to destroy a life rather than to save it. And so, yes, I pray for a change in the law. But I pray more fervently for a change of hearts and minds, so that every human being on earth will know and understand that it is not lawful to destroy life rather than to save it. And when that is true, when all people know that, then abortion and every other form of violence against the dignity and sanctity of human life will be unthinkable universally. And it won't matter. It won't matter if abortion is legal or illegal, because no one would ever have an abortion. And I pray that that day will come soon.